Welcome to follow up. Let's have a look at problem 2799. Count complete subarrays in an array. This is a newly appeared problem, and in this video we are going to explain a solution based on two-pointer sliding window method. So this is a very typical technique, and this problem provides us a use case. So here we are given an array called nums consisting of positive integers. So we call a subarray of an array complete if the number of distinct elements in the subarray is equal to the number of distinct elements in the whole array. So here we want to find the total number of complete subarrays. Here we have two examples. So in the first example, so the output is 4. So we can digest this number later. So here in the second example, so this example is very special. The reason is that all the elements in this list are the same. So basically we need to count the length 1 subarray, there are 4. Length 2 subarray, there are 3. And length 3 subarray, there are 2, right? This 3 and this 3. And the length 4, that is 1. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. In total is 10. So this is the second example. So here in the constraints, we know that the nums is not empty and its length is at most 1000. And the elements in this list is positive and bounded above by 2000. So with that said, basically we are ready to analyze or digest the problem. So as we mentioned at the very beginning, so we are going to use the standard two-point sliding window method. Basically here we want to give a detailed sort process and coding. So for each index, actually we can find the number of complete subarrays ending there, right? So for example, in the first example, so we have 1, 3, 1, 2, 2. So there are 3 distinct elements or 3 unique values, that is 1, 3, and 2. So if we examine all the indices, for example, at index 0, so it's just one element for sure. There's no complete subarrays ending there. Similarly for 3, this is index 1. And for index 2, the same, because it contains only 2 distinct elements even from the very beginning. So at index 3, so we saw that from index 0 to index 3, so it yields a complete subarray. But actually from this index 1, so 1, 3, 2. In other words, from index 1 to index 3, so we have a complete subarray. Then if we add any elements to the left, this is still a complete subarray, right? We only add elements. So in other words, ending at index 3, so we can start from index 1 or to its left. So in other words, the start index can be 0 and it can be 1. So we get 2 complete subarrays. So at index 4, so similarly, the rightmost index from which so we can contain 3 distinct elements is index 1, right? So here we have 3, 1, 2, 2. And then if we add any, we start from any index to the left and ending at the current index 1. So it will produce complete subarrays. So this contributes another 2. So in total, it's 4, right? So here for each index I, we're going to find the rightmost index L, from which to I, both inclusive, that will yield a 3 distinct elements in this problem. So or here in general contains all the distinct elements in the array, right? That's our strategy. So here we have a monotonicity. So this is the key for us to apply the two-pointer sliding window method. So if the index is more to the right, for example this one, then the corresponding rightmost index L would be larger for larger index I, right? So this is the monotonicity property we need for a sliding window. So with that said, we can do the coding, and then we can print some information so that you can digest the thought process more deeper. So here let's first get collections counter. So nums. So this will give us the unique elements and their counts. So for our purpose, so we want to get the unique elements. So here let's also introduce this length of nums. So basically this n is introduced for convenience of writing codes, and actually this is also not needed. So we just use set, right? Then we count length. We can also get the unique elements, the number of unique elements. So this is nothing but a small points. So here we introduce a result variable. So we are going to return its final state after we summing all the complete subarray ending at each index. Then the final state is what we want to return. So we start from I equals 0, right? And also we start from the L, the corresponding rightmost index that contain all the distinct elements for the full list or array if possible. So anyway, we need to start from 0. And then we want to have a current window, right? From, you can understand, from the L to the current index. Actually, this interpretation is not precise. You will see, right? So I will introduce another one, fulfilled. So this is counting how many distinct elements included in the current window we are talking about. And then let's iterate, right? For I and less than, well, I'll write in a while loop, so you can actually use a for loop. It does not matter. So here we will use this one to fix the idea. So here, if nums I not in current, right? So we want the current including elements ending at index I, right? If this number not in current, then we meet a unique element. So fulfilled is incremented by 1. So anyway, we need to update the elements in the window. So what we are going to do is current nums I. So what we want to do is current get, right? We got the counting for this element. If not, we're going to set it to be 0, right? So we increment by 1, right? So if from the very beginning or the previous IL to now, so we still have fulfilled is less than n unique, right? We need to still go to the right, right? So we're going to do I increment by 1. So this is the one case. Another case is that, so up to the index I, then from the beginning up to index I, we have full set of unique elements. So in this case, we want to find the rightmost index L from which, right? So it includes all the distinct elements. So for this, we need another for while loop. So while fulfilled equals n unique. So in this case, so we want to push L to the right as far as possible, but we want the window from that L to I include all the distinct elements in the array. So for this, let's see. First, we're going to do this because we want to exclude the previous element. So nums L, we're going to decrement it by 1, right? And then if current nums L, the counting becomes 0, right? And then we're going to decrement the fulfilled by 1. So in this case, it will break the while loop condition, right? So in this case, we also need to do this delete of the key, right? So then otherwise, so we're going to push L to the right, right? So after we exit this while loop, so the things will be the following. So we're going to, for example, for this case at index 3, so this still contains the full list. Then we push to the right. So this still contains the full list. So we're going to ending at index 2, right? So 0, 1 will be the valid starting index. So now we are going to increment the result after this while loop by L. So actually this counts the index 1, 0 up to L minus 1, right? So this is the case. So now after we do the increment, so that's the key point. So we want to decrement this L by 1. because this will recover the fulfilled, equals, and unique, right? And what we want to do is to add back, right? So from after we decrement this L, then from this current new state of L to the current index I, it will contain the full set of unique elements, right? So if nums I L not in current, so we're going to do this fulfilled incremented by 1. The reason is that in the last step of this sliding window, we actually eliminated a unique element, right? That's why the fulfilled is decremented by 1, right? So in this case, we still need to, if it's not a unique element, we just update the counting. Nums L equals current get, right? Nums L. Then if not, 0, right? So we're going to increment counting by 1. So this way, we know that from the current state of L to the current index I, right? It contains, it satisfies this condition, right? Then this way we can increment the I. So in the next round, so we try to shift L to the right to break this condition, and then do the counting, and then we shift 1 back, right? So this is at this block, else block, right? So now after we finish, so we can return the result. So for each index I, we are going to count the number of complete array ending there. If not, so we just directly increment the I, right? So it's only when we enter this else block, it's possible that we genuinely increment the result variable. So that's actually, this provides a very robust code for this problem. But before we do anything, let's first do a test. Yeah, it passes the first example. Now let's look at the generic case. It passes the generic case decently fast. So in order to better understand, let's print out some information. So here is we first enter the loop. So let's print the I value, right? So this I, and then what we also want to print out is the state of print the L, right? The L state, and also we want to print the result, right? So you see the details. Let's see. Let's print out, right? At index I equals 0, so the result keeps 0. At index 1, result keeps 0. At index 2, the result keeps 0. At index 3, right, the corresponding left index will be 1. So in other words, this L is the rightmost index, such that from that index up to the index 3, so it contains full set of unique values of the array. So then any index from 0 up to index L would contribute a valid or complete subarray. So this 0 and 1. So this will give result 2. Then at index 4, right? So the corresponding left index is also 1. So this contributed another 2. So in total, the result is 4. That's what we want to return. So with that said, basically that's about it for this problem. But you can try the second example to get a better understanding, right? And index 0, the left index is 0, right? So it contributes 1. And index 1, the leftmost index is also 1 because it just one unique element in the whole array. So then it contributes 2. And at index 2, the leftmost index is also 2. So it corresponds to another 3, right? 0, 1, 2. And index 3, so it contributes 4 because you can use 0, 1, 2, 3. So overall, it's 10, right? So this code actually is sort of verbose. It's very long. It can be readily to shorten the code, but we will leave it as a exercise for optimization. But the whole idea is the two-pointer sliding window method. So with that said, that's it for this video. Thank you.